Good afternoon. It's Shamila Ramjawan coming to you from the Red Corner Chat. This afternoon, we get to speak to Kavasha Kander, who's a specialist speech and language therapist, owner of KanderComm independent speech and language therapy practice, as well as a member of the Rotary Club of Slough. Hi, Kavasha.
Hi, Shamila. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. I really appreciate it.
It's only a pleasure. How are you doing today? I mean, you're in London. What's it like being in London?
Well, it's a rainy day today, as with the weather in London. 1 minute it's raining, the next minute it's sunny. So at the moment, I think we've got a break in the weather. But, you know, being in London is at times amazing and at times not so great, especially when you're far away from family. But, you know, every day is a learning experience.
So you're ex-South African, right?
Yes, so I'm a proud Durbanite, now living in Hounslow, London. Yeah, so definitely, and my family live in the north coast of Durban, in La Mercy. Yeah.
So when did you move to London?
I moved to London in 2004. So it's been about 16 years now. But in saying that, I've made at least 3 trips a year home. So, you know, you can take the girl out of Durban, but you'll never take the Durban out of the girl. And, you know, it's the majority of my family are still in South Africa.
Do you get them visiting quite often?
You know, not as much as I'd like, but definitely, you know, recently my mom and my brother were over for Christmas, and, you know, really thoroughly enjoyed doing a bit of traveling. Lots of good memories. We went to Paris actually for that Christmas, and you know, we were sort of running around the Eiffel Tower in the snow, which was amazing.
Oh, that must have been really nice.
It was fantastic.
So do you miss home? Do you miss South Africa?
I absolutely miss home, and that I think is one of the really sad things about living away from home, is that you never really feel settled, because, you know, you're always missing things that are happening at home, and you're missing the family gatherings. And there were times when my brother you know, would send me pictures of everything that was on the stove, you know, what was cooking at home. So definitely there's so much that you miss out living far away. There's also lots of things that you gain, but you know, often it's you know, sort of thinking about what you'd be doing if you were home.
Are you there permanently now? Will you ever come back to South Africa?
Do you know, that's a question I ask myself almost every year. So I'm here for now, but, you know, the thing is, life changes so quickly. So, you know, I'm here for now.
I would have you back.
I would actually love to. I would love to move back to South Africa. You know, the difficulties are that in terms of my job, speech and language therapy is unfortunately a lot more valued in this country. There are a lot more opportunities to grow as a therapist. But and you know, it's actually part of a legal document here where you have to provide services to children both in mainstream school and in special schools. You know, but the thing is, I know I could make it work no matter where I was, but for now, this is where I am.
Okay, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that in a moment, but just going back a little bit, you have a very unusual surname. Is there a story behind it? How did you get that surname, or how did your forefathers get that surname? Do you maybe want to take me through that?
Sure, there is indeed a story behind it. So my paternal great granddad was a successful banana exporter during the apartheid era. So there was a lot of opposition to working with Indian people, or Indian businessmen at the time, of course. So our original surname, which was Govender, you know, wasn't very helpful in terms of success. So in a masterful move, my great-grandfather anglicized the surname to Kander. And, I've been told that I am actually related to every Kander there is because it's a made-up surname.
Well, that is so interesting. So that is very interesting. So did you manage to get hold of all the Kanders available?
Well, I've actually done a bit of research, and there is actually a Facebook group of all the Kanders. But to be honest, I've tended to mainly keep to the family members I know. But there's definitely scope to do a bit of research and meet some Kanders overseas. There is actually a very famous musician called John Kander, and it'd be interesting to see if there was a direct link to him as well in the United States.
Well, there you go. Make the contact. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
So take me back to your schooling. You schooled in Durban. Where about in Durban?
So I've had an interesting school career because my dad had a job that actually made the family move quite a bit. So at one point I counted, I'd been to 7 different schools. But I think the most noteworthy would be I actually went to Utangati School, which was one of the first multiracial schools. And it is now Crawford in the North Coast. And then I finished off at Glenhaven Secondary, which was in Verulam. So that's where I matriculated. But enjoyed every minute of it.
And your studies, your tertiary, where did you attend?
So I did a Bachelor of Speech and Language Therapy, Communication Pathology at the University of Durban, Westville, which is now UKZN.
So speech and language therapy as a profession, do you maybe want to tell me more about that? Because it's very interesting and I think it's very limited in the world.
So I find it to be one of the most rewarding and motivating jobs to be in, simply because you are able to see the progress and the impact that you have in both the children's lives, because I've specialized in pediatrics, as well as the parents. So I work with any child or young person that has a difficulty in communication. And as you know, communication is integral to every single interaction you have in life. So I work with children and young people who have very little or no spoken or no verbal speech. I work with children who have feeding difficulties, learning difficulties, or social communication and interaction difficulties, for example, autism. And my role also includes a lot of the training aspects. So I train teachers and school staff and parents in strategies and ways to optimize communication. I think, as I said before, unfortunately, it's seen more of an essential service here in the UK, but there are absolutely brilliant therapists in South Africa, and actually, South African therapists are really highly valued in the UK, both because of their knowledge base as well as the work ethic. So, I still maintain all my links with all my friends in South Africa who are doing a brilliant job.
Please don't say that because we don't want to lose any more people.
No, that is very true. And, I feel like there's no sort of wrong decision. If you leave the country, there's pros and cons. If you stay, you have the comfort of, your support systems, and as well, you get to be a part of your family life that you wouldn't necessarily have if you were overseas.
Okay, so this is part of your business, KanderComm.
Yes. So okay. I very recently decided to take the plunge and work independently. To be honest, it never was a driving thing for me to sort of have my own business. I always, just wanted to be part of something bigger. But circumstances made me realize that, it was worth a try. And actually, it went quite well. So now I'm doing a bit of both independent therapy as well as working within the school systems, which I absolutely love.
Okay, that sounds very interesting though. So are you very proficient in sign language and all of that?
Well, do you know, speech and language therapy is such a diverse profession. There are actually, over 100 different specialities within speech and language therapy. So I've worked predominantly with autism spectrum disorder and a specific language disorder, which is now called developmental verbal disorder. So developmental language disorder. So no, I don't know. I don't know sign language. There are specific therapists that specialize in hearing impairment, but I do know the alphabet.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
COVID-19 has come through and attacked all of us globally. How did it
Absolutely.
affect you and your business?
Well, do you know, so it has been an eye-opener for everyone around the world. So luckily, I had actually just interviewed and sort of was employed by a school when COVID-19 started. Now, had I been in independent practice, and because I'd only started in October of last year, I was not eligible for any of the most amazing packages that the government have put out for businesses and, sort of anyone working within the UK. So it was very lucky that I actually had another job apart from my independent practice. But so in terms of actually working with children, I've been doing a lot of Zoom assessments, and I've been communicating with parents a lot telephonically, because a lot of the children haven't actually gone back to school as yet. So at the moment, we are at the tail end of our summer holiday. So I'll be returning back to work on Wednesday. But nobody really knows how many children will be coming back. And we don't know exactly what the processes will be, because in terms of spacing, that's had an impact in terms of school. So, I've got my mask, I've got my shield, I've got, sort of copious amounts of alcohol gel, and, just looking forward to going forward and, sort of making as much of an impact as possible.
Absolutely. I think it's so important to just mask up, sanitize, just do the necessary just to be safe. And at the end of the day, we have to carry on living because we don't know how long COVID is going to be here for.
Absolutely. I mean, it's had such a personal impact, because ordinarily I would have been in South Africa at this point for the whole holiday. Every year, I normally spend it at home with my mum and my family. So it's been very sad to not be able to do that this year. And of course, the worry of what's going on at home and what's happening here. Sorry to sort of be so morbid, but actually, the death rate in the UK is above 40,000 people. It is just very scary not knowing what to expect.
Well, it's climbing up in South Africa as well, as we speak. It's just, it's really sad because we're losing family members, we're losing friends, and we just got to live with it. There's nothing we can do about it.
Absolutely.
But,
you can only pray. Yeah.
Yes. So tell me about living in London. You moved from South Africa, you moved to London. Did you get married there, or did you get married in South Africa?
Well, I got married in South Africa, and then Darius and I moved over here. Yeah.
Okay, and what does he do?
So Darius is a financial controller in a very nice hotel here in central London.
Okay, perfect. And so how did you find lockdown, being together, living with your husband again, 24/7?
I feel like I should.
Yes,
I feel like I should say no comment to that one. No, but I'm kidding. So it's been in both parts enjoyable and frustrating, because you really appreciate the ability to sort of go out by yourself when you can't. So it's been an opportunity for us to grow together, as well as appreciate our alone time too.
Yes, and I think the mere fact that we all work, so that helps as well. You can just get busy in your little corner and carry on with your work, and not be in each other's spaces all the time, 24/7.
Absolutely, but because of lockdown, we were both home-based for quite a while. So yes, it's a good thing that we have a 2-bedroom flat. So we had some space.
Okay, so you're in Central London, right?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Are you in central London?
So I actually live about 15 minutes away from Heathrow in a place called Hounslow. So to get to central London on the tube, it's about 30 minutes, but I can actually look out on my balcony and see central London outside.
That is amazing. So my niece just moved to London and she's loving it. She actually moved at the end of Feb and she went straight into lockdown, starting a new
Oh,
job and all of that. So it's great experiences. Tell me some of your experiences with living abroad.
well, the last 16 years have produced some of the most amazing and sometimes heartbreaking experiences. As I said, you always feel like you're missing out a little bit by being here. But if I can think back to working as a locum, which I did when I first came here, it reminds me of, sort of dragging my bags on the tubes, on the trains, and going to destinations that I didn't know much about before actually getting there, or even driving in the snowy conditions and having my car slide from, sort of one end of the road to the other, or even dealing with a tire blowout in the middle of the freeway. Dealing with all those things on my own, well, in the last case, it was with the AA breakdown services as well. It really shows you the strength that you have within yourself, to be faced with a situation that at times feels impossible, and then to come through it by yourself actually gives you such amazing confidence within yourself. But the reality is that it's not easy, and I'm so supportive. I'm so grateful for my supportive and loving family and friends that no matter that they are by my side, no matter where I am or no matter where they are. The thing is, one of the saddest things that happened was to my family is that about 3 years ago, we lost my dad tragically. He was knocked down by a speeding taxi as he crossed the road, and he was a month in ICU before he succumbed to his injuries. I was there for the full month and a half and with family, but it's very difficult, if you're far away. On a lighter note, however, I was able to access a lot of work opportunities that I potentially wouldn't have had if I was back home. For example, I found myself managing a team of 12 therapists, providing services to 48 schools at the age of 30, which until I had to sit down and write about it, I didn't actually acknowledge for myself what a wonderful feat that was.
Wow, what a journey. I'm so sorry to hear about your dad.
Thank you. He was a wonderful person.
I can imagine. To have a wonderful daughter like you, yes. Kavasha, tell me, with being in a management role, what advice would you give to people out there that are starting up in management and they're tasked with this position? What would you say would be the best advice?
I think the best advice that I could give is that you can never please all of the people all of the time. Managing people is one of the hardest jobs because everybody is so different and you never know how people may react or respond to things. And it's often very different than you'd expect. And also, it's much easier to get people on board if you give them a platform to be creative, but also make sure that they are aware of your expectations and the timelines that you want things to be accomplished by. So I think, for me, that was the biggest lesson to learn.
Great advice. So tell me, being in London, it's usually the central point where people travel quite a lot and go to all these exciting destinations because it's a lot cheaper compared to us being in South Africa, going to Europe, etc.
Yes. No, it definitely is a lot easier from London, and especially because 15 minutes away is Heathrow. And I absolutely love to travel. I've had fantastic opportunities to see some of the most amazing tourist destinations in Europe. I've been to a few places in India and the USA. It's actually my parents, my mom and dad, that gave us this thirst for, sort of seeing new places. And, my first big trip abroad was when I was 15, and we did a family trip to the East Coast of the US. But if I have to tell you about my most exciting place to see, would probably be Iceland. So I went to Reykjavik and found myself, and I say found myself because these things just happen to me. I found myself doing a glacier hike. Not really knowing exactly what was going to happen, of course, because in a glacier hike, you have to step in your tour guide's footsteps. Otherwise, you might fall into a glacier. So that was a really mind-numbing experience. I don't think I'll do that again, but definitely exciting. And then, as I said, recently we've been to Paris with my mom and my brother Kanthan. It was wonderful to have them there as well, to experience the wonders of Europe. And then also recently I went to Prague, where on the first day a bird pooped on my head.
That's actually supposed to be good luck, right?
Well, good luck, and I'm here talking to you, so maybe it was good luck. A bit messy, but good luck.
Now that I think most of us have had those experiences in our lives, where a bird.
Yes.
What do they say? A little bird puts a big deposit or something. I can't remember right now, but anyway. Just back to your destinations. I also love travel, and unfortunately now with COVID, we had to stall all travel. In fact, South Africa is not even open for international destinations at the moment, so we cannot actually go to the country.
Yeah.
And I plan on being in Dubai in November. I'm actually speaking at an event. So I don't know if I'm going to make it, but we can just hope, and pray that at some point we can travel.
Yes, fingers crossed that it's a lot safer. But this is life, you never know what's around the corner. And I think COVID-19 has shown people that in living color, that you really have to appreciate and be grateful for what you have while you have it.
Yes. So, Kavasha, tell me about your motto. Do you have a motto that you live by?
So one of them is definitely roots and wings, and that's what my parents gave us. So roots, to always know who we are and to be proud of our heritage, but wings, to also forge our own paths in life with like a courage and determination. So that's definitely one that's been quite powerful in my life. But also one of the ones that I try and embody every day is, in this world where it's possible to be anything, be kind.
I love that. And it's so apt, especially at a time like this.
Yes, absolutely.
What really fascinated me is that you're a member of the Rotary Club, and I'm a Paul Harris awardee. I'm a fellow.
I saw that. Absolutely.
So what actually drew you to that?
Do you know, as far as I can remember, I've always been part of the Rotary family. Both my parents were Rotarians of the Rotary Club of Durban Clarewood Park. And as long as I can remember, there are amazing memories of doing lots of fundraising activities to raise funds for important charities, as well as a lot of fellowship, but also doing things like going to homes for the elderly, to give them a bit of cheer and companionship. So that was really shown to me when I was really young, that's what I wanted to do as I got older. So it's it's no shock that when I moved to Slough, I actually joined the Rotary Club of Slough. Unfortunately, as I've moved from Slough now, I've had to leave the club. But I definitely look forward to joining the Rotary Club of Hounslow, because it's one international family, really, Rotary is. And it's so wonderful to be involved in an organization that has an impact both in a local aspect as well as an international one. So I could be sitting here talking to you while Rotary does things like provide clean water to people in India, or do lots of work in terms of polio vaccines. So it's really wonderful to be a part of a global family like that.
Absolutely. Do you actually get involved in the community development and any of the projects?
Yes, absolutely. So when I was with the Rotary Club of Slough, we did things like have a competition called Youth Speaks, where you help children. It's a platform for them to develop their confidence by having a speech competition. And then we did things like sort of dictionaries for life, where most people don't realize this, but there's actually a lot of poverty in the UK as well. There's a lot of children who come from refugee families. They've left war-torn countries and turn up in a place where they don't know the language. So there's a lot of there's a lot of work that's done to help people to become part or to feel a part of the life here. I can't, I wish I'd actually made a list of all of the projects that we'd taken part of, but there were even things like, you do your blood pressure checks. That was done free of charge with members of the Rotary Club. There was even a project which I absolutely loved, where it was like a free book project where one of the shops on the high street that was perhaps left unoccupied, the landlord would give the Rotary Club the ability to give to have it's like a lending library without the actual need to return the books. So you come in and there's a load of secondhand books. You choose what you want and you go away with no charge. So those sorts of things are so amazing to be a part of.
That's wonderful. So if you have any books lying around and you want to donate it to that cause, you can actually do that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, that's
In
great.
fact, talking about books, my mom actually did that. So my mom's a newly retired teacher after 42 years of teaching. And, she actually had a library within her classroom where the children would bring books in that they'd already read and sort of have like a library share. And, that's one of the things that she's very well known for and well loved for as well.
Well, I can relate to your mom. I'm a lecturer at the University of South Africa.
Amazing, yes. The opportunity to work with young people and to mold young minds and to make them, sort of excited about learning, I think is one of the great benefits of working with kids.
Wonderful. Well, I wish your mom good luck on her retirement, and I'm sure she's going to be kept really busy, especially when you love books.
Yes, absolutely.
Kavasha, your advice to youngsters, I'm very interested in your move to London. What advice would you give to not just youngsters, but anybody that wants to relocate, somebody that's got a profession and they want to actually go overseas because they've got this great job offer, or youngsters wanting to leave their parents, just taking the plunge and moving to London? What would be your advice to people just relocating to a new place?
Well, my practical advice would be to apply for your unabridged birth certificate as quickly as possible. You definitely need that if you're planning on doing any sort of move overseas. And also invest in a really good set of luggage, because you're definitely going to need that too. The thing to remember is that it's not always easy, but then as with anything in life, if it's worth having, you've got to work for it. And there will be times when you question the reason why you left the comforts of home and the support of your family network. But then there'll also be times where you sort of rejoice and relish the freedom of making your own choices and making your own decisions. So, but that's the thing, always have a positive mindset, because nothing is as wonderful as having a positive outlook on life, as well as prayer. And if you have those two things, I think you can make almost anything happen.
For sure. Positivity, prayer goes a long way. I think it's all about taking those risks and just doing what your heart tells you to do. And also you must have a passion for it, for whatever you want to do.
Absolutely.
Kavasha, your last words, is there anything that you want to add?
Just to say thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. I think we don't do this as much as we potentially should do, sort of talk to people and network as much as we should. It's been a fantastic opportunity, and I've it's really made me reflect on some of the highs and lows over the last few years as well. So, thank you so much. As I said, I'm very grateful and I'm very lucky for the amazing family that I was born into. So, that's always been something that's driven me forward. And even though there are times when you think, oh, there's a long way to go, it's very important to take a breath and actually realize how far you've come as well.
Well, I want to say you have quite a great support structure because, you know, with watching all the people watching you now and all the comments coming in, well done, great insights. I want to say thank you to everybody that's watching this. Kavasha, your words to the women out there. It's Women's Month, the last few days left. What is your power message to the women in South Africa?
I think my power message is, you know, go forth and take down any obstacles that you find in your way, but always be able to ask for help if you need it. You know, as many haters as there are out there, there's also a lot of women who are not just women. There are a lot of forward-thinking people who are very willing to help you on your way. So, you know, my message is, you know, the best of luck to everyone out there. And if I can help anyone in any way that I can, I would be very happy to do that. And in the same way, I'd love to think that there are loads of other people who are thinking the same way.
Wonderful message. And I think your mom is also online and watching you at this very minute. Do you have a message for your mom?
Oh, of course. I miss you very, very much. And, you know, I want to thank you for the most amazing, you know, family structure that allows, actually my youngest brother is in China at the moment. Keithan, who's the younger, is in Joburg. So we're spread out all over the world, but we still remain a really tight family unit. And I'd like to thank my mom and my dad for allowing us that and teaching us what's important in life.
Wonderful, Kavasha. Your brother, is it Nanthan? He says, he's very proud. Wow.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for making contact and coming on the chat. I really enjoyed it. Great chat with you. I wish you everything of the best. And I hope that we can see you in South Africa. And I hope I get to meet you someday. All the best.
I hope so too. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, bye. And thank you to everyone that's been watching. I'm sure you're missing Kavasha, but she will be back home to visit you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.